Tonight's where the stories and the nonsense begin. Comics and friends, yeah, the mic's turned on. Half the jokes planned, half totally wrong. Backstage stories, things we shouldn't say, but we're gonna laugh about them anyway. Hey, welcome to Glick's Comedy Lounge, where the jokes go wild and the laughs get loud. Hey, pull up a seat, stay all night long. Tell a crazy story, sing along to the song. Whoa, tell us how it went down. Whoa, at Glick's Comedy Lounge. Guests on the couch with a wild tale to tell. From the road, the stage, or a barroom hell. The crowd's getting loud and the stories get strange. Every single night the chaos rearranges. No scripts here, just the truth and the laughs, and maybe a roast if you cross Glick's path. Hey, welcome to Glick's Comedy Lounge, where the jokes go wild and the laughs get loud. Hey, pull up a seat, stay all night long. Tell a crazy story, sing along to the song. Whoa, tell us how it went down. Whoa, at Glick's Comedy Lounge. Late nights, loose minds, stories all around. You're hanging out tonight at Glick's Comedy Lounge. Hey, welcome to Glick's Comedy Lounge, where the jokes go wild and the laughs get loud. Hey, pull up a seat, stay all night long. Tell a crazy story, sing along to the song. Whoa, tell us how it went down. Whoa, at Glick's Comedy Lounge.
What's going on, everybody? What is today? Wednesday. Oh my God. I still got vacation brain. Sorry. Welcome to Glick's Comedy Lounge right here on the Nonsensical Network. I just find a bunch of random ass comedians, yank them in here, and basically say, make us laugh and tell us crazy stories. And that's no different tonight. If you're not already, go ahead and give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. You can find us everywhere. bio.link/nonsensical network. You know the drill. We are everywhere. And we're trying to get back into the swing of things. We've been off for a week. So enough about me, enough about us. Got a very funny comedian and a little bit of a comic book nerd joining me tonight. So I'm super excited about that. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Deece Casillas. And I hope I said your name right.
Oh, you're so close. You're so close.
So close.
You know, really, honestly, let's go with Casillas. You know, the way things are going in America today, I think we want to make it as least Beaner sounding as possible. It's actually Casillas Berg. We dropped the Berg when we came across over Ellis Island. That's where my people came from. Don't look into it any further, people.
Don't look into it any. This is an ice-free zone. You're safe, my friend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good luck. And they're out there shooting white women now. When they start shooting white women, it is game over for the Browns. We lost. Back it up. Okay, that's they're white guys maybe we still got a chance. So they're shooting white women, game over. We done lost it.
Yeah, no more 911 calls. White woman in danger. That's not gonna help. Yeah, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the network. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your evening and hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is still kind of a new venture for me. I love stand-up comedy. I have a lot of friends that do comedy. And I was like, what? I already do a music show where I interview musicians. Why not see if I can get comedians on?
Yeah.
And I should have known better because I have friends that are in the business. And you guys have not disappointed. So I've been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys that do this comedy thing because God love you. Because I like to think I'm funny, but I couldn't get up on stage. In no way, shape, or form am I a comedian. Do I want to get up on stage and tell jokes? I'm quite comfortable right here in my little studio where I know that there's no 100 eyes or 1,000 eyes on me. I mean, there might be, but I can't see them. Yeah,
you just need a healthy dose of bad childhood delusion and a touch of propensity towards alcoholism, and you'd be on track to be a comedian in no time.
Shit, it sounds like I've got the perfect combination to be like right up there, top tier comedian.
That's really all it takes.
I think that's why I do the podcasting. I have a fear, a stage fright, public speaking. It's not my favorite thing to do.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like a Seinfeld's old joke where more people are afraid of public speaking. That's like the number one fear in life is public speaking. Number two is death. So if you're at a funeral, you'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy.
Yeah, right. What's going on, Kayla? What's going on, Daniel? We do have a live chatters box. Anybody who's watching, tuning in, you guys know the drill. Any questions? Add your 2 cents, add your 2 bits. I'll be pulling them up on the screen so you can see them as well.
My Venmo is Deece-Casillas. Feel free to send me some money. I'll take an article of clothing off for each every $5 I get sent. So
what was that Venmo again?
I am a cheap whore, guys. Easily bought.
This is a new type of show. Why does this Glick guy keep randomly sending me $5 every 5 minutes? I'm whoring out my guests for views and clicks.
I'm not even wearing that many articles of clothing right now. As far as you know, it's just a shirt and a hat. So this could go very quickly for as little as $10.
Hey man, I say be as comfortable as you can. I tell people every week, every time I'm live, I'm Porky Pigging it. You just don't know it because you can only see me from here.
Right.
So, I'm always curious. What part of the country are you? You don't have to give like your exact location, for obvious reasons.
Sure. Yeah, I'll drop a pin with my look. You come see me. And, it's like I can't hide. Like I literally post. I have a website dedicated to telling people when and where I'm going to be places. So like, if someone wants to assassinate me or to give me the whatnot, they're going to find me. I literally put my face next to a time and date in a venue. So they're going to find me. I'm in San Antonio, Texas though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I love it down here. I've been in Texas for a couple years now.
Oh yeah. How's the comedy scene out there?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's really great. We obviously have Austin close by. We have a lot of big markets, San Antonio itself, Dallas, Houston, but San Antonio is great. We've got 4 clubs growing. I get up a ton during the week, and then I'm on the road a lot, and I run a bunch of my own shows. So Yeah, San Antonio, it's I think it's in a growing phase. Every scene has like a time when it's growing, and then the talent moves away.
Yeah.
The better talent moves away, and then it has to kind of start like a little chrysalis again to start over. But this is boring for your listeners. So the anyway, it's good. It's fine. You can say anything you want to say here. Unlike I used to live in Washington State, and that was not as great for the old freedom of speech. It's funny, all my liberal friends too, when I moved to Texas, they're like, "Oh, Texas, did they give you a gun when you moved to Texas?" I'm like, that's crazy. No. Give me 3 guns, motherfucker. Let's go. Oh, pussies. Let's go. Let's do this. We're real men out here, And then they're like, they want to give me shit. They're like, "Oh, it's Texas, though. You can't get an abortion in Texas." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that is true, but also, I can't get an abortion anywhere, so I don't really give a shit."
Well, I mean, if you listen to some people, you could if you wanted to.
Well, I'm not going to give it a try. I don't want that speculum going on my urethra. Listen, I'm 43. I have enough time getting hard. I don't need other reasons.
No, and that's the thing, for comedians, nothing is off limits for you guys. And if you're living somewhere where, they do kind of try to squash certain, beliefs or certain things, or people get their feelings hurt too easily, it makes it very hard to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. I mean, I would do things I stopped doing things in Portland years ago, but when I used to go to Portland and do things, you'd go to like showcases or open mics to try to work some material, and somebody would just start a premise, right? Like they haven't even gotten to the joke. You don't even know where they're going. They just start a premise, and somebody in the audience, like some other comic or someone, would just yell out, "No!" Like, motherfucker, you don't even know what he's saying yet. You have no clue where this joke is even going. Like, let him get it out. And even if it is like bad or dumb or it doesn't work or whatever, like, it's not your job to tell someone what they're allowed to do with their art. Like the market will decide if they get to be successful at this, right?
Yeah.
It just is, to me, the problem is like, either everything's off the table or nothing is. You can't start picking and choosing a la carte, because if you took 10 people and asked them to tell you what their moral line was, it's going to be different for all of them. Who are we catering to and where? Especially like, if you're in Portland or if you're in Boise, Idaho, like Sandpoint, Idaho, North Idaho, very, very different demographics and very different points of view. I book shows across this country, and there's comedians from Portland I like, but when they want to do a show I have in like Montana, I'm like, "I don't think that's for you, dog." I'm like, I have to like nicely tell them, like, sorry, they don't want to hear about how sometimes you feel like a woman and your antidepressants are all to get you through the day. Like, they don't need that shit. I mean, just do that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying you got to figure out that where it works and where it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like know the room.
Yeah, they don't want to hear about your life as a transsexual communist pixie. They're not gonna deal with that very well in good old Butte, Montana, a bunch of old coal miners. Coal miners about to commit a hate crime. So
yeah, for real. But it's the crazy thing, like you said, where they would just shout out "no." I mean, that's the whole premise of an open mic, or is to get out there and work out new jokes, work on your timing, see what hits, see what doesn't hit, whatever the case may be. So here's an idea: shut the fuck up. You know?
Yeah, you gotta give people a chance to work it out because especially when it's new, like sometimes you really don't even know what you're saying yet, and you're like sometimes you've got it down. Like there's sometimes I've got a joke that's basically done by the time I take it to stage, and then there's sometimes where it's just an idea, and I'm just talking and you're trying to figure it out, and sometimes you say shit that's crazy. You're like, well, that I can't say that again. That's not something that's gonna. That's not good for audiences.
Yeah.
That's an insight. That's an inside thought. I get on a watch list if I hear someone hears me say that again. But
don't let your thoughts win.
Yeah, you gotta have a chance to get it out, and again, it's an open mic. People are. It's like. You got to let them work it out the way they want. I mean, Jesus Christ, if I told everyone to shut up every time I heard a stupid premise, I'd spend my whole life would just be walking around bitch slapping microphones out of people's hands.
Calm down, Kanye.
Yeah, just be a fucking lifetime commitment to this. Like, no, you just let them do it. Let them do it, and they'll figure it out. Like, yeah, he's got a stupid rape joke. It's terrible. It's a bad joke. But also, like, I don't know. Are we saying you can't joke about that? Like, there's very success. Like, look at Anthony Jeselnik. Now, here's the problem. Most people aren't Anthony Jeselnik. They're not. They don't have his charm. They don't have his ability. They don't have his writing skill. They don't have his time in the game. But they could eventually, if they keep going. So, eventually that joke could be something that works. Yeah,
exactly. And again, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, that's the point of, and I've had a few comedians on here, and they've all said the same thing. Nobody really takes open mics that serious. And I've been to some open mic shows with some friends of mine, and they want to go up there and they want to work out, new material or, try a new thing. Maybe they're a punchline type one, like
a one-liner.
Yeah, one-liner, or they're a story, and they want to start to transition into telling stories, and I've got some friends down in Tampa that are comedians, and Tampa's kind of blowing up.
Yeah, Tampa's insane.
And I've gone to a few open mics down there, and like before they go on stage, they're in the back horsing around, busting each other's balls, and then they get up there and do their thing. But I mean, that's the whole point, just throw some shit at the wall and whatever sticks, maybe you'll use it down the road. You don't need some jerk off saying no.
Yeah. No. Well, the problem is it's always the people who I've always said this. I've never met a good, successful, consistently working comedian that's really ever worried about what other comedians are doing. Yeah. It's always people who have nothing else to do, have just this modicum of power in a local scene, or some like guy who books some fucking local showcase. So he feels like he has something he can lord over people. That's all it is. It's not like people who actually, if you actually do comedy, I'm like, you don't really get to tell me about comedy when you've never done comedy out of the zip code you live in. Mm-hmm.
It's that mentality of, you have the guys and girls who peaked in high school. Sometimes you go back home to your hometown, and I'm from a small ass, and I got a good friend of mine in here in the chat. I'm from a small town in Podunk, Ohio, and sometimes you go back home and you still see guys, we're 45, 46 years old, and they're still wearing their Letterman jacket and talking about that one time they got in high school football, and it's just like, wow.
Remember when I fingered Stacy under the bleachers? That was great. That was the time of my life. Yeah. Scored the winning touchdown and then got a dry hand job behind the supply shack. Oh, God. Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
Yeah.
It's always that type of guy who, I guess the term that's been thrown around a lot is like gatekeeping,
Yeah.
Congratulations on being the best comic in all of, Podunk, Kentucky. But
right. Like fucking way to go, Eugene, Oregon. I don't know.
Fuck nowhere, Tennessee. Like, no, that's wild to me, But I mean, there's a lot of people across the board, and whether it's comedy, music, podcasting, or whatever. You get these guys that just get that little bit of, success, and they're like, let me tell you how to do this because I know better than anybody.
Yeah.
You know? But it is. Speaking of the comic style, what style do you kind of lean towards? You seem like you're a very animated person, you're a little antsy, and I see that because I'm the same way. I'm constantly moving around. But what's your kind of style of comedy? Are you a storyteller or a joke guy, a joke writer?
I'm a joke guy. I don't really tell a lot of stories. I've got a couple in my set. I try to mix it up a little bit, but it's pretty set up punch. That's kind of what I do. I like jokes, laughs per minute, things like that. You gotta keep it moving. I do kind of envy storytellers a little bit because they can like woo people with oration and not have to have a lot of beats, not have to have like a lot of laughs in it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's just not my style of comedy, like storyteller comedians are not really my favorite comics. So I think I always gravitated towards like joke guys, and that's the shit I like. So.
Oh yeah. No, it takes a special, in my opinion. And again, this is just the fans' perspective. Again, I'm in no way, shape, or form a stand-up comedian, nor do I ever claim to be. But it takes a special type of comedian to be able to go up there and tell stories and get the laughs and be successful and keep people's attentions, especially in the world that we live in now, where it's 15 seconds, 30 seconds. You got to keep our attention. We're bored and we're moving on to the next thing.
I think what you see, in comedy is like newer comics really have to tell jokes because you have no you don't have any cachet yet. You don't have any credibility, so you have to tell jokes to keep them engaged. Whereas you get. You see a lot of bigger comics who become more established. Their hours, their specials become less punchy and like longer stories. And it's because they have the rope. The audience is there for them. They're bought in. They're invested at that point, So like they're there for the experience, and they're going to give you that latitude to give them any experience you give them. Whereas when you're younger, you're like, I got to pop. And I think I'm just such a road dog. Like I'm on the road a lot. I'm doing like, sometimes it's good clubs. Sometimes it's, small bar shows on the weekdays. And shows like that, like you really gotta you don't have time to be like, let me tell you this story about, one time when I was in Poughkeepsie and people are like, we don't give a shit. Make us laugh or we're going to start paying, we're going to start trying to sexually assault the barkeep again. We're just gonna start dropping the N-bomb, and there's no black people. We're gonna start yelling the N-word soon. Calm down, guys. Poughkeepsie, you're getting crazy. So that was part of it too. It's like a survival mechanism of like you have to really be just like hammer them, So I really it's funny because I have to like pace myself sometimes because I'll get into a theater or a club that I'm doing if I'm not doing like a brewery or bar show or something or like a different indie venue. And you're like, it's a different pace, because like if you're in a comedy club, people are there for the comedy. So like I'm like, oh, you got to slow down. I'm like, slow down. You can do this slower. You can wait for really wait for the applause and the laughter to die down before you move to the next piece. Whereas you're in a bar show, you're talking over them to keep them engaged with you,
Are, compared to like the bar shows or the breweries or smaller venues compared to like a theater or an actual comedy club, obviously, open mic, you might have 2-3 minutes. Some of the clubs, does that time is there a big difference in the time restriction if you're whether you're in a brewery or at a theater?
Well, no. Usually if I'm doing a show, I'm headlining, so I'm doing an hour. And if you're headlining, you usually have latitude to do it's usually they'll tell you, it's like 50 minutes. We need 45. It's usually a minimum of 45 minutes, but they're usually like 50 minimum. But you can do 60 plus as long as there's not another show coming up or something.
Yeah.
So I'm usually doing 55. It depends on the audience. If they're having a lot of fun, I'll give them some extra stuff, or like it goes a little longer because you're messing around with them in the middle. If it's a bumpier show, or you can tell they're getting tired, you're like, all right, we'll wrap it up around 45. You just kind of feel it out. So yeah, it really depends on what you're booked for. Mostly I'm headlining. There's times where you're doing showcase shows, you're doing, 20-minute sets and things like that. So it just kind of depends.
Thanks. Okay, I was going to ask you, I was going to kind of go there, but you beat me to the punch about like headlining and featuring and stuff like that. But I mean, how hard? I couldn't imagine trying to write something and prep something for an hour. For you personally, I mean, each comic's going to be different.
Yeah.
But for you personally, is it hard to sit down and write and try to come up with some new stuff for an hour? If you got 4 or 5 shows in kind of a close proximity in an area, are you trying to do something new or mix in some new with some of the stuff that you may have already done, just in case you get some repeat offenders, so to say?
Well, it's nice of you to assume anyone would come see me twice. That's generous of you. Really, it's like I don't sit down and write. Like that is not how I produce comedy. Everyone's got a different process. I know people who do that. Just seems like a nightmare to me. It just it's never been successful to sit down and like force myself to write. Usually I do my best writing either when I'm driving in between when I'm on the road doing comedy. If I'm driving like 3 to 5 hours a day, I'll just no music and just drive in silence like a psychopath, or just like I'm like a serial killer, like down his ex-girlfriend, or like I do weekly podcast, the Social Hour with Deece Casillas, new episodes most Wednesdays. Shameless plug. Sometimes content will come up on there, and I'll say something that's like funny premise, and I write it down, and I'll work on that later. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of it just kind of comes to you, in a weird way. Like I'll just think of something. Like I talk to myself a lot when I'm alone, and if I say so, I'll kind of like rant about things that I'm thinking about. And if something makes me laugh, I'll go, "Oh, that's funny. That's interesting." And if I can think of a couple more beats about it, how to kind of approach it and present it on stage, then I'll give it a shot and see what I can do. But most of the time, here's a peek behind the curtain, guys. I hate to break this to people, but if a comedian, if they tell you they're doing a different hour every night, they are a fucking liar. They are a lying sack of shit. And go watch them 5 nights in a row, and I guarantee it'll almost be verbatim. Most of the time you have like an hour you're running at that time. There might be a little like flex, a little bit of variation depending on the audience. You're like, maybe they're not that into this. Maybe I hammer this in. Maybe I've got this new thing I want to work on. I will kind of put it in between 2 things that I know work. So it's what we call a shit sandwich in the industry. Yeah. It's like the ends are good, but if it could be shitty in the middle here. My dog's coming to join us. One of my dogs here. Yeah. So, you kind of just, which is the best way, which is nice when you're like on the road a lot and touring. It's the best way to work new material because you have an opportunity to present it to a actual competent comedy audience that's there by choice, not just like, hey, this is a bar I went to have drinks with while I was contemplating my suicide, and some psychopaths with a fucking microphone are in the corner telling me about how crazy airplanes are,
Yeah.
So you can, in not exactly the most willing audience,
Yeah. They're just kind of getting it forced upon them.
Yeah. It's like you're not getting a real like response of what your jokes would get from a real comedy audience.
No, exactly. I think it's a nice way to think about it. You paid for this. I own you for the next hour. You're mine.
Honestly, if you have that mentality while you're on stage, it's like you have to understand, like, it is your time. You are the one with the microphone. Someone told me early on, they're like, when you first get up on stage, Sylvie, come here. Sorry, my dogs are staring at each other. When you first get up on stage, they're like, take a second, let there be silence, take a breath, and let everyone settle, and it does help kind of reset the room. It sets a tone that, like, oh, we're supposed to be quiet and listen to this. It really does make a difference. There's little like psychology things, like, because people are dumb, and they're really easily manipulated. So like, it doesn't take much, just a moment of silence for them to go, oh wow,
oh shit. Well, not only that, now that you've openly admitted that, I'm going to say allegedly, potentially a serial killer who drives in silence and has full-on conversations with yourself. It's in their best interest to be quiet. When you have the microphone. Right. Otherwise, you could join the rest of the your friends in the basement.
I'm leaving town after this, and you may leave with me if the system goes the way we want it to.
Yeah, exactly. On the comedy thing and jokes and stuff like that. And this is kind of become a new topic of conversation that I've noticed amongst comedians or people in that circle. What are your thoughts and feelings on comedians who do crowd work?
Crowd work?
Yeah.
I knew this was coming. I think they're all pedophiles. Personally, I think I've got proof of that. So we're gonna release it with the Epstein files. So as soon as that comes out, we're gonna release our evidence too. So Todd Barry, watch your back.
So how do you really feel about comedians who do don't hold back or anything, Deece?
Here's the thing, like, it's fine. It's this is like every comic, every working comic does some crowd work at some point in their set, in their life as a comic. Some more than others, and it's fine. That is fine. It's going to happen. There is the part of the problem, though, is like, if you're doing crowd work traditionally, you can kind of fuck yourself, because it is magic, when like a really, really good organic crowd work moment happens, when you're not even trying to do crowd work. Someone says something, you say something back, and then it's like lightning in a bottle, right? And then you like ride that wave and ride it. And like the longer you ride it, the more there's this momentum, and everyone's just like, holy shit, we're all in this like moment, right? Yeah. It's like, then it ends. And then, then you have to go back to just like telling your jokes. And it's definitely, you have to get good at being able to walk back into that, because you can't just go right back into material, because people will be like, whoa, wait a second. Like, what is this bullshit? You were doing magic a second ago, like this is crazy. This is what you were just doing. So that is tough. But with as far as like the new craze of crowd work, to be honest, I think it's pretty cheap. I think it's mostly pretty bad comedy. It's always like, oh, where are you from? I'm from Rhode Island. Oh, look at this homo from Rhode Island. And everyone's like, it's like, what is, I don't know. What was funny about that? He's
exactly
from, but and it also, it's encouraging the audience to interrupt during a show because they want to be part of the show. They want to be part of the clip. They think they see this on social media and they think it's like expected now. And I'm here to tell you, most comedians, we don't fucking care what you have to say. Yeah, even if you see me in public, I also probably don't fucking care what you have to say. Probably just exclusively at a show. I just probably care so little about your opinion. And any thoughts you may have. So I just want to make that clear to everyone. I'm kidding. You can talk to me on the street if it's fine. But in a show, it's usually going to interrupt, and it's not going to be great, and it's not. But here's also what I say on the other hand of that. Like, it's kind of just the way comedy is going, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't hate it if it's working and successful. I think it's kind of cheap. I don't think most of it's very good. There's some people out that are better than others. But like, listen, when Lenny Bruce started telling like jokes, right? I'm sure all the vaudevillian guys were like, what is this? We tumble. That's comedy. We do tumbling, And then so they were pissed too, Yeah. And comedy evolved. So maybe this is just the new thing, and I'm the old generation. So I don't know, the market will decide what is.
Well, and not only that, and again, I got two takes on it here. A, there's a reason why you're on stage and we're sitting in the crowd.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm not a comedian. I don't need to make jokes to the comedian who's supposed to be making me laugh.
Yeah.
So, if the comedian engages with the crowd organically and they're not just some jackass yelling, because he's had 17, shots of whatever and he wants to yell because he wants to be a part of the show.
Sea breezes deep.
But there's some of these big names out there who have blown up specifically off of their crowd work and social media, but their actual stand-up is trash.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, essentially what you're doing is what I do every Saturday night here on the network, and that's just roast everybody who comes in and hangs out on the panel with me.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's wild to me how much it's become kind of a thing. I don't know. Maybe I enjoy some of them. There are some out there that are, amazing at it.
Sure. Yes.
But their comedy is also really good. But yeah, it's as a fan, it's like, man, I just spent X amount of dollars to come see, Deece perform, and now I got to listen to him deal with some drunk asshole, 4 rows back because he wanted to be the loudest guy in the room.
Well, yeah, like half the time, most of the audience can't hear the guy talking, and then I'm just responding in a microphone to one person, and like 9 people actually hear me or know what the conversation is, and everyone else is just kind of confused. Like it just doesn't, or like he says something, and then you have to repeat it so everyone knows. It's like a weird game of telephone. So, I don't know.
It's just a weird situation. I remember a time, and again, maybe it's just because I'm old, but I remember a time where, comedians would instantly shut a person down. I mean, I remember years back, I went and seen Greg Giraldo at the Funny Bone. Weird story. 3 days before he died.
Yeah, all right.
And we were here in Ohio, and some drunk asshole, for no apparent reason, yelled out OH, because that's what they do here in Ohio. And so Greg went on a 45-minute tirade, just destroying the Ohio State University fan base, and then rolled it right back. And they're like, he's like, I'm supposed to be done now, but it's my show, and there's nothing else going on, and the bar is still open. So And he just rolled right back into his set, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, it is. People don't really realize what they're getting into. I'm always like, we are professional comedians. We do this for a living. Also, like, I'm the guy with the microphone. You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Also, it's really so. The easiest thing to do is. Usually everyone else is mad someone's interrupting the show. Like, if the show's going well, the audience is on your side and they like you and they want to keep hearing you talk. They don't want to hear this drunk asshole. So the easiest thing to do is just literally turn the crowd on them. Like, get the audience to hate him. Be like, wait, what'd you say? What do you guys? And they'd be like, and just ask the audience, like, do you guys want to hear what this guy has to say? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, are you sure? And they're like, no, fuck that guy. And I'm like, well, if you don't want him to talk, let him know. And they'll be like, shut the fuck up. You get the whole audience yelling. And I'm like, hey guys, sorry, man. I really wanted to hear what you have to say, but they all think you're an inconsiderate piece of shit and should kill yourself. So, sorry. That's the easiest way to dismantle the situation is just get the audience to do your work for you,
just and they're just a bunch of drunk assholes too. So I mean,
yeah.
You got a room full of drunk assholes versus one drunk asshole.
Yeah.
So,
I'm like, man, I'm like, listen, you should take it easy, man. We're like 2 tiki torches away from a rally here. So you should really just make some hard decisions on which way this night is going to go for you.
Nice. I don't know, man. People are weird these days. Everybody, social media has created platforms where everybody has to be the center of attention. It's wild sometimes.
Yeah. It's made us a bunch of sociopathic, narcissistic pieces of shit. We're all, I'm kind of hoping we just that World War III cracks off and we can stand to lose like 30 to 50% of the people. I think we'd be okay.
We'll be fine.
We're gonna be all right.
It'll be fine. It'll be all right. So, how long have you been in this game? How long have you been doing the comedy thing?
20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I started in 2006 was the first time I got on stage, and then I did. I always did stand up, but I did a lot of. I went into comedy writing really early, and I was doing a lot of writing. I was doing a lot of sketch, improv, writing on some shows, some film stuff. Wrote for some shows. Wrote for a lot of. Did comedy writing for like websites and stuff like that, and. So I did some stand-up during then, but I did a lot of writing and other stuff for a long time. And then about, I think 2014, I think it was, 2013, around there, I really hit stand-up real hard again. I did it kind of, I did comedy for 20 years, stand-up consistently for, it's a weird trajectory I've had because, I was doing some stand-up, but doing a bunch of other stuff. Then I started doing more stand-up and less of the other stuff. And
Yeah. What did you already, doing the writing for so long before you got into actual stand-up? Did that help you at all, or, give you a little bit of a leg up, did people know who you were? Were you kind of somewhat established, or?
No, no one knew who I was. No one still knows who I am. I literally I pay my mortgage and nobody still knows who I am. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I always try to, people like are, how do you make a living? You're not famous. And I go, I don't know. I can't name everyone who plays on the Lakers, but they're still in the NBA,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's there's some of those guys. It's still a pretty good living and you get to play in the NBA. But no, so like the way it happened is I've always been a writer. That's always what I wanted to do. And I was actually in the process of writing a book that I ended up publishing in 2010. But it was a fiction book. And while I was writing it, I was looking for paying gigs for writing. And I found this comedy website that was paying. So I sent them some submissions and they hired me. And that was right around the same time I started doing stand-up comedy. So they really happened at around the same time. The writing aspect was more predominant for the first 6 years or so, about the first 6 years. I was doing stand-up during that time, just not to the level I am now. It wasn't as often. I was doing more writing. And then after a while, the writing, the stand-up was getting so successful, I was starting to get a lot of bookings. So I'm like, I followed the money. I'm a cheap whore. Like I said, this is more money. There's more money there now. Got it. I'll do that now.
I think we're all cheap whores in one way or another.
Yeah, 100%. Listen,
Hey, trust me, I love doing this podcasting thing and whatnot. There's a radio station happened to catch something I was doing, and they're like, hey, we're going to give you X amount of money a year if you come, and we're going to give you your own show and a morning time slot or something like that. I'd be like,
let's go.
Yeah. Or if Spotify was like, hey, we're going to give you one of those sweet Joe Rogan contracts, I'm quitting my job, buying a freaking big ass house and a stupid jacked up truck, and be like, yep.
Let's go. I'll sell out in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I will 100%. Hey, I can still do what I'm doing, and you guys aren't going to bust my balls, and you're not going to censor me. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. I'll be a CIA asset. What do you want me to tell you? You want me to tell you guys you want me to tell people we really went to the moon? I'll do it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
We did. 100% we went to the moon. I've seen the pictures. I was there. Oh.
Hey, money talks and bullshit walks, man. you hey, as long as that check clears, you're the boss.
I went to that island. It was fine. Nothing happened. Okay, you guys are crazy. I don't know why you're still talking about it. It was just
what island? What island? Never heard of it. What are you talking about? Doesn't exist.
Just had really nice decor, all delivered by Wayfair.
Yeah. No. Congratulations, we're whores. What was that first time on stage like for you? I always ask that again. It's one of these questions I always ask, and it's just I like to get inside of the heads of people a little bit. So you're kind of scaring me a little bit, but I'm also slightly intrigued.
Here's the thing: most people, when the first time you do it, there's no stakes. So you don't even know how to fail at it, right? You're too dumb to even fail at it. So a lot of times people will go out and actually kind of have a good set the first time because they're not overthinking it. They don't even know what they're doing, So there's nothing to compare it to. And also, if I'm a fucking robot, I'm dead inside. I don't have, I didn't have nerves about it or anything like that. But people always ask me when I'm doing shows, oh, do you get nervous for a show? Or no. Do you get excited? No. Anything? Yeah, I'm no, it's just something I have to do before I get to go home. Really, it's I got to do this and then I get to go home. This is like a hostage situation, actually. This is the most cordial hostage situation. You just don't know. You're too dumb to fail. So a lot of people end up having a pretty good set. Then they overthink it. They kind of think oh, I'm good at this. Then they come out a little cocky their second set and they fucking eat dick. They fucking they eat dick like a George Michael Christmas party. It is out of control. It is on another level. Then that's usually when people quit. Is they realize oh, this is hard. But you got to power through that. You got to power through that if you want to continue. But my first time on stage was fine. It was was at a place called Pete's at the Beach. It's a little, it was a little sports bar on PCH and MLK in Long Beach, California, where I'm from. I used to go and watch the open mic every week, just because I like comedy. And there's this guy named Steve. God, I keep trying to remember his last name. It's just been so long, but I want to say Gillespie or something like that. So he's just this old, comic who'd been kicking around the scene forever and ran this shitty mic at a bar on a Tuesday. And I would hang out. He'd always see me there, and I would talk to him after the show, and we'd drink for a while after the mic and stuff. And he's like, one week, he's like, you're funny. He goes, you should try this, And I'm like, me? Yeah, you should do this. And I go, okay. He goes, next week, you're going to go up and do 3 minutes. And I go, okay. Yeah. And, I'd always loved stand-up comedy, but I just didn't know how, I didn't even know that was like an option. Like I could go sign up and do, it didn't even register to me. So I went home and I was looking through my notebooks, and again, I've always been a writer. I've written a ton of stuff, always writing things down that I thought were funny ideas or funny lines that I used to have this notebook that I would just stuff that was funny. But it was stuff I was going to be like, oh, I'll use this for a story at some point, I'll work this into a story. It'll be a funny thing. But I realized later, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I was writing jokes, I literally was just writing jokes. So I used a lot of that was the base of my first material. And, a lot of it went pretty well. A lot of it is stuff that I ended up working into my set and using for a long time. There's still a joke I say occasionally that I sell a shirt. Sorry, I got one of my first jokes that I said. And again, I sell a shirt. I still sell these shirts occasionally. It's when I tell the joke so I can sell the shirts. I have them around. But I talk about being Mexican. I talk about how, people don't think I look Mexican. And I always say I'm like secret agent, undercover Mexican. I'm like 007. Which whatever. It's not the funny. It's like a funny line. It's not. I've got in this whole bit about, talking about being Mexican and stuff. So it's a funny line in there, but I say that I can sell the shirts. But that's one of the first jokes I wrote early on that I said that the first time I ever went on stage.
Nice. A great way to sell a shirt still though, all these years later, at the end of the day.
It does still work.
Minus the last name, which I butchered, but that's okay. You can pass as one of us white guys.
Oh man, I wish I could share a picture with you.
You should be able to.
I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can. Hold on. This is great for your listeners. They're gonna love this. This is super great pod.
The great thing about it is, sorry for the audio listeners, but it's on YouTube and you can watch the replay. Nice. So if you're listening on Spotify right now, and you're like, oh, what is this picture that he's going to show him? If he can show him, I'm going to go watch on YouTube.
Camera, audio.
Should be able to present.
Share screen. Here you go. I'm going to share screen. Here you go. This was me at 19 years old. There you go.
I'll scratch that.
That was 19-year-old Deece, fresh off of my Cholo school graduation. So
you look like you could be any Hispanic gang member from any 90s movie from the hood. Me and Dan, like a Danny Trejo's son. Come and watch on YouTube, Mr. Dr. Professor Reverend.
Yeah, so when it's funny, it's in although You know what's so funny? Because I always say it's when, in places like when I lived in Washington, other ethnic people could see it. They'd pick it out.
Yeah.
White people never would. And then like when I moved here to San Antonio, everyone just speaks to me in Spanish.
Yeah. I think it's just everybody speaks Spanish in Texas.
Oh, everyone speaks, even the people that speak English, they just go to Spanish first when they see me because they're like, oh, this guy's Mexican. This guy speaks Spanish. So it's fun. It's like, it depends on where I am. So
yeah. Just let it.
It's so much safer in today's America. Yeah, this is
Hispanic when it benefits you, white when and then on the other side of the coin when it benefits you to not be Hispanic. It's just
that's right. Yeah. I mean, Hispanic when I'm in the hood, and white when I get pulled over. Yeah.
Exactly, 100%.
I always say, like, I don't look that Hispanic, but like if I'm like white people would probably let me date their daughter, but also if you saw me in front of a Home Depot, you might think I was a hard worker, right? You just be looking at me like, what the fuck's going on? Is that one in the corner there? Rocco, we're gonna build a shed today. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, right. It's like that best and worst of both worlds.
Yeah, I just find it, but like I come from a super traditional, like stereotypical Mexican family, right? Like my grandmother had 14 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, she actually had so many kids. She named 2 of them Manuel. I'm not even kidding you. She just forgot what she was naming kids at a certain point. They're like the kids were popping out of my grandmother like a t-shirt cannon at a Spurs game.
It's like a clown car.
Yeah, she's off naming them random objects she sees around the house. It's
yeah. No, that's something that. Well, I would like to say that's a Hispanic thing, or but we've got grandparents in our family tree that had 12, 14, 15 kids. That's where you get Billy Bob and Billy Joe Bob and yeah. Well, it was a Catholic thing, that's for sure. Catholic, saying Hispanic Catholics, but and also like kind of like a poor thing, you kind of had to have a lot of kids to work on the homestead, and you're probably going to lose a couple, to whatever measles, smallpox, bear attack. I don't know, whatever happens. Child labor is cheap, man.
That's right. That's just ask Nike.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I need my Jordans for less than $200 a pair. Okay, now I can't afford to pay people a living wage.
Yeah, no, that's why we send it overseas.
Listen, Bangladesh, pull it together. I want to be able to buy $3 shirts at Walmart. You piece of shit.
I love how you just kind of tiptoe the line right there, and every once in a while you step. You're like, what can I get away with?
That sounds like me. I've been known.
Yeah, I'm a habitual line crosser myself. So, this is one thing that always kind of intrigues me, and I being a comedian, you always hear all the crazy stories after the show. Do you have any like wild story? I mean, you're like, I just want to go home. So I imagine like the shit I'm out. Here's a wild story for you. And forgot to take my socks off or something. But do you have any like stories for the road or shit that's
Yeah, I certainly had my time. I mean, after 20 years, you have some things happen.
Do we have to throw the allegedly out there for any of these stories? I
think statutes of limitations have probably passed on most of them.
I'm looking at
the craziest thing that happened one time is I was in Florida, and Florida's, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Florida, but it's a beautiful place minus the people.
We call it Florida around here.
The landscape, the land, beautiful. The people, a fucking nightmare. The
people of Walmart 24/7.
Oh my God. So I do this show at this club in Naples, Florida. And this guy after the show, he was like, "Hey, you're really funny." He goes, "What are you doing tomorrow? You want to go on a fan boat in the Everglades and go gator hunting, during the day tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Oh, fucking yeah, that sounds great, right?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome." So we're out there next day. We're flying through the swamp. Like, these things are crazy. You're deep swamp. There's no land anywhere to be seen. Like, literally, there's alligators everywhere. I mean, they're literally like biting the boat as you're going through the water. Like at one point we're sitting there, and it's basically like the deck of the boat is open, and it's basically like level with the water almost. You've only got a little bit of room, and then there's the big fan on the back. It's just like a fucking, it's like just like a white trash surfboard. It's fucking nuts. It's like this jet powered surfboard thing with deadly dinosaurs around you. It's crazy. And there's this, he's showing us this crocodile. He's like, "This is the biggest one out here. It's like 23 feet long. This thing's huge, right?" And I go, "Holy shit." I go, "Hey, can those things get up here?" He goes, "Oh yeah. Yeah, in a heartbeat." He goes, "That thing would be up here before you know it. It'd move in a flash, man." They took one last week. That guy took somebody's arm off, and I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?" Back up. So we're cruising around and stuff, going all over the place. Hey, Sylvie, leave him alone. Leave him alone. We're going all over the place, and all of a sudden, this guy coasts to a stop, and he just stops and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, y'all don't like the blacks, right?" And I go, whoa. I processed all this in like a millisecond. I'm like, literally, these thoughts went through my head lightning fast. I go, I'm on his boat, middle of nowhere, deadly reptiles surrounding the boat. No one knows I'm out here with this guy. He knows I'm Mexican. And I'm like, I'm thinking this could all go sideways very quickly. And like literally that all went through my head in a split second. And this is what came out of my mouth. I go, "Well, I'm pretty sure OJ did it. That's for sure. But beyond that, man, I don't really." This guy just, he stops and he looks at me and he goes, "You're funny, man. Come on, let's go." And we just keep going. I was just going, holy shit. What has happened here? Oh my God.
Oh man. That's so no more fan boats in Florida.
No more fan boats in Florida. Yeah. I mean, and it was the rest of the trip. The guy just kept like, it's like dropping N-bombs, being racist the rest of the time. And in my head, I'm thinking like, Jesus Christ, Deece, I'm like, how much racism are you willing to put up with just to go on a fan boat ride, It turns out quite a bit. Those things are awesome. They're a good time, guys. I suggest it. It is worth it if you can go.
They are a lot of fun. I've been fortunate to get on one, not in Florida. I was in South Carolina. I used to live down there. And I had a friend that was like, basically, he's like, "You ever been on a fan boat?" I said, "I'm from fucking Ohio." No, yeah, let's go. They are a lot of fun. I didn't have any fear of, anything negative happening, but yeah, they are a lot of fun. It's hard to turn down a free fan boat, right?
Yeah. I didn't know what I was getting into, but now I know.
Lesson learned in Florida.
Lesson learned in Florida, that's for sure. So
it's like one of the most Florida stories. Like you could have been like, you could have said any other state, and it might not have been as believable. But the fact that you said Florida, I had a doubt in my mind.
And that is like, verbatim how it went down too. I mean, it was just it was nuts. So
just out of the blue. He's just
like, oh, okay.
Well, these are questions that you could have asked me before we got on the boat.
Yeah. I gotta know, what size hood do you wear before we get on this boat?
Good Lord, man. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Man, you I was looking at some of your stuff on YouTube. You are funny as fuck. And I'll give you, I'll tell you that. I was at work today and I was with the contractor and I just had YouTube on. I was looking at watching some of the reels and just walking through the hallway with this contractor. He was not fun to talk to. So I was like, I'm just going to listen to Deece. And I would just start cracking up every once in a while. He's like, what, man? What's so funny? Now you want to talk to me? I tried to talk to you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're before.
Yeah. Now I'm done. Now we're done talking. We're not friends. But no, I dig some of your jokes and some of the stories and stuff that you were telling. It had me cracking up. But I also noticed, going through and look, I liked how you said, you don't write stuff because I suck at prep. I can't write stuff down. Everything just kind of flies off the top of my head. I do enough research for guests, so I'm not looking like a complete asshole. Sometimes I ask questions that I already know the answers to, but that's not for my benefit. It's for the audience's benefit.
Yeah.
But I noticed that you're also kind of, and you brought it up with your writing. You're kind of a dual threat. Not only are you funny as hell, but you're super talented in the writing world.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you're, I don't know you well enough to call you a full-fledged comic book nerd, but you seem like you're into the comics and stuff.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I am sitting in a room that has about 150 long boxes full of comic books in it. So I am a comic book nerd.
Nice. Well, then you're okay. Now I don't feel so bad. I'm a bit of a comic book nerd myself, but it's funny. I'll get into conversations with people sometimes, and we'll start talking about stuff, and then they'll get offended because I say, "Oh, you're a comic book nerd," or "Oh, you're a nerd." Oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah. It's the N word, you can't use the N word, man. It's, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a pejorative if you're a fucking pussy, Jesus Christ. Like, it's just a word, it's like, I mean, this is going to circle back to what we started this conversation with, but it's just a word, words are like, it's just a sound we make to convey an idea. That's all it is. And it's like an agreed upon sound. We've all decided that sound means this thing, and nerd isn't a pejorative, unless you want it to be. And if you're that sensitive about it, like, I don't know, man, fucking, what do you want me to, I don't know what to tell you. It's really, I mean, you can nerd for a lot of things. You can be a nerd for the NBA, you can be a nerd for the WNBA. Just kidding. No one watches that shit. Not the WNBA. That'd be crazy. But you can be a nerd for all sorts. It's just like it just means you really like that thing. You're excited about it. You're into it. You're a fan. It's another way to say fan,
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So, and that brings me to the, you got your, Forged in Fire. Is that your comic book company, or are you?
It's Inferno is the name of the company. Forged in Fire is just the kind of the slogan. Inferno Comics is my company. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Are you and again, are you doing your own series? Got your own series coming up?
Yeah, I've got a comic book series out called Kill Stan. Issue number 4 is about to release. And then I've got a couple other books I'm working on, and an anthology series, and also I'm working with some other creators to help them get their books published too. So,
hell yeah. If you don't mind, I got you here for the comedy, but as I was going through social media and I seen this, I was like, okay, so this has piqued my interest as well. What is the skill? Words are hard. Kill Stand series around? What's that? What's the kind of premise behind that?
Suicide by vigilantism. It's a story about a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. So it's a neo-noir crime thriller on the surface, but really it's like a character piece about one man's journey of loss and trauma and the crazy things we do when we feel like we have nothing left to live for.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a comedy. Sorry, guys. Hard turn.
I thought we were talking comedy here. Shit.
I mean, he doesn't want to kill himself like most comedians, so that's something. That's no. So that's that's the book. It's a 10-issue series. We're about to release number 4. And yeah, it's been awesome. It's gotten great reception. We've sold a ton of copies. I'm in some comic book shops around the country and trying to grow it.
Oh, yeah. No, you definitely piqued my interest. It sounds like it'd be a good read, kind of a one of those that would definitely like grab a hold of you and you'd get sucked in pretty quick and anxiously awaiting the next issue. I remember I was having that conversation with my son a few years back. He was kind of getting into comics a little bit. And I said, man, I remember having to wait for you get so sucked into a storyline or whatever, and then you'd have to wait. And now, like, you literally have everything at your fingertips, man.
Yeah.
But it definitely sounds like a storyline that would have you on the edge of your seat, like waiting for the next issue. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah. You can our website is inferno.earth. There's no .com. .earth is the domain. That'll give people information on it. It also has a shop on there. You can order all the past issues directly from us. And then it does have links to our Kickstarter. We're running a Kickstarter for number 4, which will be releasing soon. So if you follow the Kickstarter too, that helps us a lot. Even if you don't, support it, just giving a follow on the Kickstarter helps us a lot when we launch. And then inferno.earth is the Instagram page also. That's where I'm most active. I post stuff every day. And not just stuff about the book. I do like other comic book content, reviews of books, past stuff, talking about comic stuff, things I love. Just it's a comic book page. I love comic books. So I talk about a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah. You're just all over the damn place.
Yeah, man. I stay busy. Luckily it's all things I love, but the comic book is really, honestly, that's my whole life, if you had asked me what I really want to do, it would have been create comic books. So to finally get to that bucket list item in the last year has been really amazing, and to be able for it to be and I say successful in the confines of an indie comic book that has had zero promotion besides what I've done for it. We have no distribution or promotion. We're just whatever I'm doing. I am the company. So whatever I'm doing for it is where it's getting. But, we've sold, I'm probably, probably 4,000 copies of number 1. We're probably somewhere close to 3,000 copies of number 2, and probably, number 3 just got released like 2 months ago, and we're probably, 2,500 copies into that so far. So, I mean, it's selling well, and growing. So
I was gonna say that. I mean, for like you said, it's not really promoted outside of what you do for it. There's no distribution. There's no, like a mass ad, campaign or anything like that. That's pretty impressive to get those many copies out there. And it's one of those things, with anything in entertainment, whether you're doing comedy or podcasting or comic books or whatever, if you get it in 10 hands and those 10 people really enjoy it, and they each tell 10 people, if only 2 or 3 like them, but those 2 or 3 people tell 10 more people, that's kind of, you let that organic growth happen. It takes a little while, but it's authentic. and it's genuine and it's a real growth. It just depends on how patient you are with it. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. Like, sometimes it doesn't feel, we're all impatient. It doesn't feel like sometimes I feel like nothing's happening. And then I have to look back on a long enough timeline and be like, oh no, like a lot has happened. I know guys that have done more issues than I have in or barely doing anything. Or guys that like, don't, people, most indie books aren't coming out every 3 months like I am either, though. Most are coming out once a year at best. So my goal was to like really push them out there quickly. The first year, last year, I think I did 36 weekend conventions across the country. So to get into as many hands as possible. So I invested that way. I invested in a really high quality paper stock, cover stock. So it really stands out against other books as far as like the quality of it, the printing. I mean, everything. I really wanted it to be nicer than most books, any book, really. I mean, it's nicer than any mainstream book you'll find out there, printing quality wise. Started hitting shops, offering it to shops, finding its way to get it on shelves. And, a lot of shops have been very receptive, and the shops who pick it up, sell it. I've got people subscribe to my book at comic book shops. They got on their poll list, where they're like, yeah. And then, they told like, it's an indie book. It comes out every couple months. It doesn't really have a regular release date. And they're like, we don't care. When the next one comes out, pull it for us. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
And, it's every week, orders come through on my shop and my website, that I'm shipping out, where I'm like, I don't know, is this someone who bought the book before and now is buying the next one, or maybe never is this all new? And, so, I mean, it's growing.
Damn, that's awesome. For somebody who, again, a fan over here that enjoys, good comics. And I think as I've gotten older, I've kind of grown out of I love all the new movies and everything that are coming out, but I've grown out of, going and buying them and reading them and waiting for the next issue and all that stuff. But to be able to find, I remember like way back when the Walking Dead first came out, even before it was a television show, and happened to stumble across that series and was like, I think that was the last big series that I got excited for, that I couldn't wait for the next book to come out, Yeah. And then the show came out and I was like, well, the show just shot everything to fucking hell. That character didn't survive page 3. What the fuck?
Yeah. It was way different. I mean, I'm still a Wednesday warrior, man. I still go get new books every week.
Nice.
It's changed what I read and how often and stuff, but I'm picking up something every week. There's always something new I'm getting. There's some really awesome books still coming out. The Absolute line from DC has just been amazing. There's just been some cool stuff, and it's good inspiration, and I just love the medium so much. So but I mean, I read a lot of indie stuff too. I think there's just such great stuff in the indie scene. And then yeah, man, I mean, this is the book I'm working on now. I got another book I'm working on that's coming up, that to be determined when I release, when this comes out. It kind of, it's just time and finances for right timing to make it work. Yeah. But I mean, this is not hyperbole when I say this, but I've got hundreds, if not into the thousands of comic book scripts I've written. So, I mean, I've got hundreds of series that are ready to go. It's just the time and finances to make it happen. So, it's no lack of, no lack of product. It's just, making it happen. So,
that seems to be one of those big hangups. Time and money, usually are the two big hangups for anything you want to do, as far as like growth and expansion, or, whatever you want to do. You gotta get you selling out stadiums here, man. You gotta get you out of the breweries and into.
I mean, it's like I do. There's all different types of shows. You do those are like weekday shows. When you're like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday type shows, and then the weekends are the bigger shows. But you can pick up pretty good money on the weekdays doing these indie shows. when clubs don't have anything going on. But yeah, man, time and money. That's the name of the game. It's like, because I mean, every issue I produce before I even send it to print, I'm about $3,500 into it,
Wow.
So, and then I got to pay for printing. So yeah, it's like, that's why we run a Kickstarter, and that's why we try to recoup with pre-orders on the Kickstarter and stuff like that.
And it's something that I've noticed even as I was younger and now that I've gotten older, and every once in a while we've got a couple cool shops here in town. I'll pop into the comic book shops just to it's kind of a nostalgia thing, and pop in and see what's out there. But they really do push the indie guys in some of these stores, especially like the small local stores. The one we have, as soon as you walk in, you're blasted with multiple indie writers and artists and stuff like that. I think that's great when you support your local or your independent scene like that.
It's just where the industry is headed. I mean, people are tired of what Marvel's doing. DC was on the brink of destruction and kind of came back in the last 18 months. They really swung it back around with this absolute stuff. But I mean, people are they want real stories. And also, your average comic book reader is like me and you, like guys in their late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s. Like that's your average comic book reader. So, as much as we grew up on X-Men, eventually you're like, I might still buy it out of like habit, but also I'm really I'm looking for a different type of story. You kind
of outgrow it, and that's where it's kind of nice to see every once in a great while, or every so often, you see Marvel or DC get a little darker, get a little edgier. You know what I mean? Because you kind of outgrow. You want a more mature, more grown up. I'm reading comic books, but check out this storyline, which just sounds like exactly what you're doing with Kill Stan. You're bringing that more mature, more grown up, very dark, very edgy, story to it. So,
well, it's with a purpose. There is a deep story and purpose being told. There's a lot of subtext, a lot of iconography. I mean, really there's a lot of thought put into every aspect of it. So, it's about trauma. It's about mental illness. It's about depression. It's about just the weight of life and what that means for everyone in their own personal life. It's different for everyone. So, it's part of why, I've started taking some submissions for stuff I want to help people publish. And that's the hardest part, has been letting people know, like, well, what are you looking for? And I'm like, well, I'll know it when I see it. Like, it's got to be, I want stuff from a unique voice, a unique perspective, and I want something with a purpose. Like, I want your story to have a meaning. Like, tell me, like, don't tell me what it's about. Tell me why you wrote it. Like, why is this important to you? Why did you write this? And that's going to tell me a lot more about the story, than anything. I think there's so much more there. Cause like this book, Kill Stan, I actually wrote this because in January of 2020, my best friend, another comedian, took his own life. And then we rolled into COVID immediately after that, where, just kind of like locked down and watching everyone's lives crumble and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, it really just, all these things were happening and all this stuff was swimming in my head. And I really started thinking about like, well, what if you really had nothing to live for? How crazy could it get? What's the, and these ideas started percolating. And then this thing came about. And then this was what came out of it. So, there's deeper purpose and meaning behind a lot of things people write. And I want to know that. I don't want to, if you just write like a fluff piece, a superhero thing, like that's fine. I'm not saying don't do that, but like, and there is room for that. That's just not what I'm trying to do right now.
And with the concept, like you said, this is a hell of a way to just decide, like, you know what? I have absolutely nothing to live for. I'm going to unalive myself, but I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it's a wild concept to kind of wrap your head around. And
yeah, I was listening to, I was reading this news article, and the phrase "suicide by cop" was used, and then it immediately made me think suicide by vigilantism, and I don't know why, but that phrase popped into my head, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And so I did some research. I'm like, has anyone ever done a story like this? Is this like a thing that's it hasn't been used? So I'm like, well, this is like a very original idea. I need to pursue this. And it just kind of, it just poured out of me from there. It all happened very quickly as far as the story and what I wanted to tell and how and everything.
Damn, I dig it. I dig it. It sounds like writing for you comes very easily, very naturally. Is that, or do you ever reach? I'm sure as a writer, no matter what you do, you always reach that moment like you kind of hit a wall. But it seems like for you, it comes pretty natural, pretty easy.
Yeah, I will say that, like, I never hit a wall with writing. I sometimes hit a wall with writing the thing I'm currently working on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll sit in front of sit in my computer and I will write a paragraph in 4 hours, but then the next hour I write 5 pages because like you've got past that part. But sometimes my mind wants to work on something else. Sometimes my mind is focused on a different writing thing, and I can still write. It's just not necessarily always that thing right in front of me. Luckily I've got room to maneuver with that. I'm not stuck having to do one thing, but no, man. I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always been creative. Ideas come to me faster than I can get them down, especially with stuff like this kind of fiction stuff. So, like I said, literally, if I could dump tomorrow every book I had, if proof they were all in existence, there'd be 800 books on the market tomorrow. It's crazy.
Yeah. No. It's that ADHD brain, That's what I tell everybody. Like one side of my brain is just super chill, just kind of hanging out, and the other side's a complete lunatic. It's going 900 miles an hour in 400 different directions all day, every day.
A part of it is I'm really interested in things, and what and I know it sounds vague, but police, when they go down and get dogs from the pound to train as police dogs, right? And most people think, oh, you're going to get like a German Shepherd or Belgian Malinois, that's what you got. And they're like, no. Like I had a friend of mine who's in the sheriff's department. I asked him about it, and he goes, like, what kind of dogs do you get? He goes, we look for dogs that are interested. Mm-hmm. And if they're interested, they're easy to, they're just interested in life and things, so that you can point that at something, and it's easy to contain, right? To direct. And I am just interested in things that are interesting. So I will do things. Like I was listening to a podcast about the Crusades one time, and there was one line that the guy said that made me think about would be a really cool idea for a story. And then I wrote a 35-issue comic book series about the Crusades. It's like that's, I was really into Bushidoism and samurai stuff for a while. That, and I wrote a book about it. I wrote this book about Bushido because it was interesting. So, sometimes it's I don't even know I'm interested in a thing, and it'll hit me and I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. And I have to pursue that idea, So.
No, I get that 100%. My girlfriend's always amazed because I just have all this useless knowledge about things in my head because I have, you call it curiosity, call it whatever you want to call it. But like you said, podcast or, something real quick on the radio, or as I'm passing the TV and something's on, it catches my attention. And I'm like, oh, I'm curious to know about that. And then I go and do a little, education on it. And then for whatever reason, it's just stored in my brain. And at random times she'll say something or somebody will say something, and that triggers that that memory. I'm like, oh yeah. So about that,
Yep. Yep.
What is wrong with you? I don't know. I don't know. There's a bunch of useless facts in my head
Yeah, man.
that are triggered at times. You also said, we were talking earlier. You also said that you do podcasting as well.
Yep.
What do you do on your show? Or
I do a weekly podcast called The Social Hour. New episodes most Wednesdays. You can find it on deececomedy.com or wherever finer podcasts are sold, Spotify, etc. I say most Wednesdays because it was every Wednesday for a while. Then during the pandemic, it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I went back to Wednesdays. But also I travel a lot, so sometimes I just don't have time to do an episode. Or sometimes if I don't have a guest I want to talk to, I don't do an episode. Or sometimes I do solo ones. But I've been doing the show since 2014. So I'm doing a long. I got in early. I've got about 500 and some episodes of the show. It's evolved over the years. So it started out as kind of more of like a morning radio type show, type thing. Like I was a host. I had a producer. I had a news anchor girl. We did bits and segments and games. I had a guest every episode. But I had a whole sound studio at my house too, where I lived in Washington. So that was pretty easy to do. When I moved to Texas, I wasn't able to set up my sound system where I was because because of air conditioning. The air conditioning unit in all the rooms in the house were so loud that it would pick up on the mics, and if you didn't have the AC on, you're going to die. So I haven't been able to do that again, although I'm planning to soon. I'm looking at a space where I can kind of bring back that show. But during COVID kind of took that away anyway, and I started doing one-on-ones virtually. But it's just a talk show with a comedy slant, probably a little less comedy now than it used to be when we were, when I had the whole crew on the show. We do crazy things, like we'd all eat mushrooms and then record a show. Something like that's
nice.
One of my favorite episodes of all time. It was a really good time. I need to do that again.
I still know the guy. We just don't associate with each other anymore. That used to be on this network that would dabble in those things. Show up and do
it's I'm sober besides mushrooms. Everything else I don't do anymore, but about once a month I'm gonna have my little adventure. But I do everything. I just talk to people I want to talk to. So I've interviewed presidential candidates. I've interviewed Kevin Eastman, who created the Ninja Turtle, co-created the Ninja Turtles, Fabian Nicieza, who co-created Deadpool. I've interviewed people like that. I interviewed a guy who's like an animal handler because I wanted to talk to someone who worked at a zoo or something. Like that sounded fun to me. I interviewed a guy who used to work at McDonald's because I want to know all the secrets, like dirty secrets about so it's really it's just what interests me, if someone has an interesting story or someone has something to talk about that I like, I'll talk to them. And if they don't, I just don't do a show because I don't want to. I've done shows where I regret it or I'm like, this is boring. I didn't want to talk to this person. I don't even know how to interview. There's nothing I can really get out of this person. So I don't do that anymore. I'd rather just skip a week than, or do a solo episode. I kind of, like I said earlier, I kind of got sucked into the political realm. So it's a lot of topical current event stuff. And then, when I do solo stuff, but yeah, I try and keep it light otherwise and have guests on and, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I dig it, and it can be very time consuming, even doing one. And I say that as a guy who does several different shows a week. It can become a full-time job when you're trying to book guests and line people up and get people where they need to be and everything like that. And then you have your normal day-to-day life, which, you sound like you stay pretty busy as it is. So
yeah, it just is the biggest thing is just finding people I want to talk to now. Like that's the hardest part. What the hell? Sorry, my phone's ringing here. Yeah, the biggest part is just finding people I want to talk to now. Before it was easy, with the city I lived in, there were always, I worked at this comedy club. So like, it was easy to get comedians, like a new comedian traveling through every week or something like that. Or I knew a bunch of musicians, or I knew all the local politicians, or I knew local artists. And it was just easy to get someone in studio with the crew. And, we would BS, and then we'd bring the guest in for the second half of the show, interview them a little, then do some segments, do the news. And it was fun and easy. And, now it's like, I don't know, I have a hard time finding people that I want to talk to. And like, I don't have that access one-on-one, and there's a lot of podcast groups on Facebook, but most of them are worthless.
A lot of bots, man. It's hard to find a halfway decent legit one anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's most of them are just like, I'll put out a thing like, hey, I'm looking for guests, and I get a million ladies who are like, I'm a life coach. And I'm like, ugh, no, thanks. Can we talk? No, I'm looking for people with a real job.
That, or, when you put a post on it, and when I started to do this show, I was like, I'm going to find some comedy Facebook pages and with comedians and whatnot. I'm going to join them, and I'm just going to throw a post out there, and I already know what's going to happen. I was actually really shocked and surprised with the response that I got. But yeah, you get a lot of that, or Ali Akbar Ashur is like, I can promote your podcast for you and get 100,000 views and 50,000 new followers. It'll only cost you $1,500 a week.
Right. I'd be losing money not to. Sign me up for 2. Hey, Shaman Luther King. I would interview a homeless person, but usually they have a bad Wi-Fi connection. Otherwise, I would.
Yeah.
I've actually thought about that, but I'm like, I'm not inviting you to my house.
I want you to know where I live.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll down. Well, you're gonna walk to my car. I'm gonna roll down my window this much, and I will talk into this microphone. I think that's interesting, but yeah, it's just logistics on that one is a little.
It's just do on location. Just take your equipment, down to the camping site where all the homeless people are, and I'm sure nothing bad will happen to you.
I'll go down the Skid Row in LA and be like, pardon me, in between the fentanyl use and sex trafficking, can you tell me your favorite part about being unhoused, or whatever PC bullshit term we're using today?
Yeah, go to their house. No, it is doing. I would love to have the setup and be able to get the local musicians or comedians or whatever and have them come in person. But man, thank God for the interwebs where I can connect with people, virtually and do stuff like this, because again, my studio is literally in my bedroom. I don't think my girlfriend would be happy if I had a rock band in here doing a live show.
Hopefully, I'm looking at some spaces. Hopefully, that I can make it work, and then I'll try to get back to bringing people in and having more regular crew and kind of bringing back what I used to do, because it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun, and I want to get back to that. Not that the newer version isn't fun; it's just different.
Yeah, it's just different from what you're used to, and it's you find your style that you like, and you find that style that you're comfortable with. Yeah, and it's hard to kind of deviate away from it. I'm a creature of routine. I like my, I like things a certain way, and so. But with the comedy and the comics and hopefully the bringing back the show and everything. I always give my guests an opportunity to just whatever you want to promote, whatever you want to throw out there. I know Kayla's been dropping links and stuff like that. Any upcoming shows? Or I know you said you like to travel, or you do a lot of traveling. You want to throw out there and promote and let people know where you're going to be at or where they can find your stuff or anything?
Yeah, let's talk comedy first. So let's see, comedy. I will be this Monday. I'll be at the Riot Comedy Club in San Antonio, Texas. Then Saturday, I'll be at Upstage Comedy Lounge in San Antonio, Texas. And the following Thursday, again at the Upstage Comedy Lounge in San Antonio, Texas. Got some local shows coming up. Then I will be doing 2 shows in Del Rio, Texas on Saturday the 9th. Then let's see, I've got some stuff into June. I'll be in Bandera, Texas. We're bringing my show back to Bandera Brewery. That's a quarterly show. That's a fun show if you live out there. You probably don't if you're listening to this show, but if you do, buy your tickets early because that show always sells out, and it always sells out quickly. It seats 120 people, and there's not a fucking empty seat in the house. So go buy a ticket. If you want to go to that show, you got to buy early. Then I'll be back in Washington State mid-June. Just go to my website, deececomedy.com, and check out the dates. We post everything there, or on my Instagram, deece.comedy. I do also have a special out called Not Your Cup of Tea. We have a link on my website, deececomedy.com. It's the Not Your Cup of Tea link. If you click that link, it's all pay what you want, so you can pay whatever you want. You decide, and we will send you the full 4K download video special for you to keep forever and live, watch, and love, and whatever. You can pay whatever you want. Most people pay like $5-10. You can even pay $1. It's a dick move, but you'll still get it. And the podcast, Social Hour with Deece Casillas, new episodes most Wednesdays. That's the comedy stuff. And then as for the comic book, websites, inferno.earth, the Instagram's inferno.earth, the TikTok's inferno.earth, although I haven't posted anything yet there. I'm not sure I'm going to, though I started one because a guy made me. And Instagram's where I'm most active. That's where, follow us there, find us. Give us a follow. Even if you don't like comic books, we're just trying to build the following there, so that helps a lot. Number 4 of Kill Stand's coming out now. You can buy all the back issues on the website, inferno.earth, and also follow our Kickstarter, or just say notify me of launch is the best thing to do. And then it just sends you an email when the thing launches. You don't have to support it when it comes out, but the more people we have watching it, when it launches, the higher it goes up in the algorithm, more eyes get on it. It just helps us get funded faster and all that. And I don't know, drink more water.
Drink more water. No, real quick, because you said about the TikTok. Social media, it is a necessary evil for anybody who's doing any kind of entertainment or that want to get themselves out there, and how love it or hate it.
I fucking hate it. I hate myself every time I'm on there. I hate everyone who's on there. I hate everything about it. It's gross. It's terrible. Nothing good comes of it. But also thank you all for following me, and please keep following me, and please support me. Like, comment, share. You're all wonderful. No, it's terrible. It's going to be the death of us. It's killed our society. It's killed our ability to interact, and we're all brain dead, fucking brainwashed shit now. But it is a necessary evil. I can't wait until I can afford to pay someone to run it for me, so I don't have to. So I can I don't ever have to be back on there. That's one of the next goals is to, and here's the deal. Like I'll create the content still, then I give it to you, you do it all. I don't want to log on. I don't want to hit send. I don't want to, the only thing I will miss is on the comic book page. I get fun engagement with some followers. That's cool. But otherwise, like I don't want to do it, but you have to, that's part of the problem in both these things I do. It's like you get in it to do comedy, but then you also have to be your own manager and booking agent, travel agent, and you have to be your own content creator and social media manager. And, it's like, it's crazy. I always tell people I have 0 jobs, but I also have 800 jobs. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I would love to offer anybody that would like an unpaid internship to run our social media here on the Nonsensical Network.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly is the next thing I want to be able to. If the first thing I'm going to do, if I, if like someone gives me a deal for Kill Stan or something, it's like I'm gonna pay someone to manage my social media is my investment.
I'm with you. I can't. And I'm so bad at it too because it's like, oh, I forgot to post this. Oh, I got to get clips, but then it's like, oh well, I've got 5 more shows this week, plus a real job and kids. Like, to find the time.
you gotta post a clip, but you also have to post it in the right format. And now they want it, whereas like the really good ones that perform have tracking where they're moving. It has to be the right ratio, but also you need to add closed captions, and then also you have to have the right caption you add underneath, and you have to post at the right time, and you have to do it at the same time every day for X amount of days and you're like, fuck, dude, I just want to fucking, I just want a steak and a blowjob and not, all I did, I just wanted to do comedy so I could have one lady touch my wiener one time. And then now I have to like, post a clip from this shitty show in Butte, Montana and be like, this is funny, right? Do you guys like me? It's a terrible life.
It sucks. This is the worst. Why am I doing this?
I don't know. I question it every day. I'm gonna.
No, I feel that, man. I do want to say thank you for coming on here, man. I greatly appreciate it. I think you're fucking hilarious. So best of luck and hopefully you'll make your way a little bit more east at some point. And
yeah, I haven't been out to Ohio in a while. I go to the Carolinas quite a bit. I haven't been to Ohio in a minute though.
Well, if you ever get to Ohio, let me know, and we'll be at a show. I'll be back. Hopefully, we'll be back in the Carolinas here in about 6 years. I told her, I had a lady on a few weeks back. She's a comedian, and we were talking and setting up the dates and all that stuff. And she was like, "Oh, you're in Ohio," and I'm like, "Yeah, I got about 7 years left on my sentence, maybe 6 years for good behavior." And she's a clean comic, and she's like, "Are you in prison?"
Yeah, I don't know if they let you podcast from prison. And again, they also don't let you have methamphetamine in your butthole, and that happens a lot too. So,
yeah, I told her, I said, "Nope, not prison, just Ohio, same thing."
Lateral move. Honestly, a lateral move.
So I was like, again, know your room, know your audience before you make certain shows. But she was great. She was awesome. No, man. So I know this is kind of cheesy. I know this is kind of corny. I don't fucking care because it's my show and I do whatever I want. But I always ask my guests before I let you guys get out of here. 2 things. Anybody who's thinking about getting into comedy, actually, you could throw it out there for writing as well because you kind of do it both.
Don't stop. Kill yourself. Just give it up. Don't do it. Just stop. Do you have your family's respect right now? Do you have anyone who loves you and cares about you? Okay, keep that and don't do it. What are you, crazy? Look at me. I'm hunched in a room on a folding chair at 43 years old. This is not a fucking life for anyone. Don't do it. This is not what you want. You do something. You're going to be in a Peter Thiel sponsored AI fuck shell in the next 13 years. Okay. Just go bang your avatar and, get sucked into the matrix, and don't think about doing you're not going to have a job. There's no such thing as jobs anymore. Just give it up. And just start drinking all the code red you can, because life doesn't matter anymore. You gotta have feelings on the matter.
Well, you heard it here first.
Okay. All right, hold on. I will attempt to actually answer that question. Here's what I'll say. So that was the question, right? Was there more to the question? Yeah. Okay.
Like any advice for anybody, who's thinking about getting into, or they're new in it,
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. And this sounds like a joke, kind of, but sounds like I'm saying this in jest, but I do mean this. Unless you're really serious, and unless you're really committed to sacrificing a lot of time and effort for a very long time before you even see a modicum of success, time, effort, money. I mean, if you're talking comedy, you're going to be driving 5 hours to get paid in a hot dog and sleep in your car and do 5 minutes. This is what I'm talking about. This is not a joke when I say that. That's what it is when you first start. Unless you're understand that and you're willing to do that, don't start. Because in this, you can apply this to anything in life. This is my Mr. Rogers moment for all you people. So until after this, I'm just going to go on a anti-Semitic tirade. So buckle up. Just kidding, guys. Fine.
The show.
It just ends.
The technical difficulties. The thing comes up.
Maybe got us again. What I mean is and again, you can apply this to anything in life. If you love it, if you want to do it, it's going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. You're going to have to sacrifice time and money and so much. You're going to miss birthday parties. You're going to it's just, you're going to lose friends. You're going to and it's going to happen. You have to decide what is the most important thing for you. And it's there's no easy path with comedy. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be a lot of you doing all your own work. It's going to be a lot of no one giving a shit. And that, I'll give you an example. I was writing a show 12 years ago. I was writing a show and I brought in two of my good friends at the time who were not comedians, but they wanted to, it was like an idea that we kind of had together. So I brought them in to write this thing with me. Right. And I kept telling them, I'm listen, the only time we all had off together was Sundays and Mondays, and that we all could get together and work on this. And one of my guys was a big football fan. We lived in Washington at the time. And he goes, and I told him, and I go, hey man, I understand Sundays and Mondays, football season, Seahawks are playing. Here's the deal. And this is when the Seahawks were, I guess they won the Super Bowl this year. They were good. But this is when they had Russell Wilson. They were, it was the season after their Super Bowl season. So they were and I told him, I go, here's the deal, man. I go, I know you want to watch all, 16, is it 16, 14, 16, might have been 14 at the time, football games in a season, right? what if I told you for the next 3 years you can only watch 5 of them, 4 of them, maybe even, you know? I go, but then in 5 years, you can have season tickets, box seats at the stadium for the rest of your life. I go, would you take that deal? And he said, yes. And I said, great. I said, that's what I'm trying to get us to do with this show. Like, if this show goes somewhere, we can have that, but it's going to require us to not do anything else for a while. You know, we get to do these other things we want to do. Well, I mean, now, you know, that show never happened because of reasons, but also, but mostly because they, you know, I wasn't getting what I needed from them. I went on to do other projects. I've had successful projects since then. I'm still doing comedy. He's a bartender, you know, like it's like, I don't know. He's not happy. I know he's not happy, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I tried to tell you, like, this is what you have to do. Mm-hmm. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's not going to be great. You are going to lose people you love. But if it's what you want to do, then fucking do it. But if you think you're not all in, just don't start. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. Just go find the thing that you're going to apply that mindset to. And until you do, don't even start.
Yeah, I know that's the truth. I've had that conversation with people. And, you know, when we transferred into a more content-driven network and not just throwing shit at the wall, I mean, yeah, that's why I'm down to just me and my very good friend of mine that are doing shows. And he does a few shows a week, and I do the majority of the shows. But yeah, 100% agree. You gotta be all in. You know, you know, if you want to be successful, yeah, man, make that sacrifice. And, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe for a few years it's going to suck ass, but it's that payoff at the end of the day, if it blows up or if it becomes successful, it's all worth it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could suck ass for a really long time. I mean, like a really, really long time. You know, I mean, like Louis C.K. didn't get popular as a comedian until he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, and he'd been doing comedy for 20 years, right? Like it just takes time and effort. And, you know, like I could tell you a million horror stories of how the things I did to get stage time, you know, again, like I said, like you drive 5 hours and I'm going to sleep in my car and I get to do 5 minutes and, you know, I get $20 in a hot dog for the night or whatever. Like literally, like that's how it is for so long. And that's even after you've been doing it for years. So
it's not the overnight success that social media would like us to believe that it is.
Yeah. And even the success people have is, I mean, the only reason I've been able to make this work too is because I created my own production company and I started producing my own shows. So I just 4-wall venues and, you know, put myself in them and I can bet on myself and make money that way. But a lot of comedians don't do that and they can't make a living because, you know, you can't, unless you're the top 1% of comedians, you're not going to make a living by, you know, the club will book you, you know, any given club that you're in will book you once a year to headline. So like most comedians are not in at 52 clubs. Most comedians out there are in it 3 if they're lucky, you know? Yeah. So you got to do a lot of other shit you got to find your own path and make your way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like that. You just got to dig in, man. You know, pay your dues and you'll get there eventually at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the way I look at it is like, you know, I look at things on such a long term, like a long timeline, whereas like this is going to suck for X amount of time, but all of the time after that for the rest of my life will now be exponentially better. I'm focused on that. I'm not focused on the now, you know, like I'm focused on the now in the meaning I'm working, but the goal is I can look at that and be like, this is getting me there. It's okay.
Yep, exactly. the long term, not the short term.
Yes.
I mean, I feel that 100%. I mean, I've had people, right now there's 3 people watching. That's okay. Maybe this time next year there'll be 3,000 people watching. Whatever the case may be. Maybe there'll still be 3 people watching. I don't fucking know. I also know that it's a Wednesday at my time. It's 10 o'clock at night. Most normal people are like, oh, I gotta get up and go to work in the morning, and I do too. I got to take kids to school and everything else. But at the end of the day, this is my shit. So,
well, like we talked earlier, with social media and everything, I think people just lost, instant gratification. They lost long-term goals, and they think everything should happen quickly. And I used to be a fighter. I used to train MMA and kickboxing stuff, and I would run. I'd run on the beach a lot. And when I'd run on the beach, I would always just go, I'm going to run to that lifeguard stand. And then when I get to that lifeguard stand, I could finally see the next one way down the beach. And I'd be like, okay, you can see it. You can run to that one. And then I get to that. And then I just do it one at a time. I wouldn't start going, I'm going to run 20 of these. I would go, I'm going to run to that one. And when I get to that one, just keep going next one. And then next thing you know, I've run 25 of them. But it's like incremental. Take it off slowly, have these small goals, and they add up.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's a legit real talk. And that's kind of my mindset. Like, I'll take the long road. I'll put the work in, to me, it's I can look back on it and go, hell yeah, this is where we started. This is where we are. And I mean, that happens even with baby steps, man. I get excited if I get 10 likes on a post. I'm like, hell yeah, that's cool. Most other people are like, ooh, you only got 10 likes.
I mean, you have to. There is, you say, you call it the long road, but it's just the road. There's no shortcut. The shortcut is fleeting and doesn't last. It's not real. It's not, if you found a shortcut, it's not real. It's not sustainable.
No, 100%. 100%. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I've had you a little over 2 hours now. I greatly appreciate it, brother. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
I love when guests come back. That's my musical guest. I bring them back all the time just because I have so much fun with them, and I enjoy catching up. The cool thing about this, I love focusing on the up and comers, the local, the independent guys, and I become a fan, and I watch your journey as a fan. So anytime you want to come back, if there's anything we can do for you, don't be shy, don't be a stranger. If you want us to throw some stuff up on our socials, on our stories to help promote stuff for you, absolutely.
You know any single Japanese girls around 28 years old?
I might be able to give you a couple websites. I don't know any other women.
You have Ana de Armas's phone number. It's really the number one thing on my bucket list right now. I just want a phone number is all I'm looking for. I can handle the rest.
Yeah, all I need is a number or an Instagram.
I'll figure it out from there. I'm clever.
Yeah. No, man, like I said, absolutely. This was a blast. Like I said, if you guys aren't already following Deece, make sure you go check them out. And if you're technologically retarded like myself, if you found us, you can find him because he's tagged in every post that I've on all of our social media. Once you find it, click it, go give him a follow. Check out Inferno Earth as well, as if you guys are into the comics and stuff like that, support that as well. Even if you're not, just go follow it. Like he said, just go follow us. Help us out.
Follow helps. Just to follow on the Instagram. You can follow it and then mute me. I don't care.
It's just
it's all about the numbers.
Absolutely. Just to get that those numbers up and make it look good at the end of the day. No, again, man, absolutely 100% very grateful and very appreciative. I had a great time hanging out with you. And like I said, you're welcome back anytime. And anything we can do, don't be shy.
Right on. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome to stick around while I do my closing spiel, or you can drop out, man. You don't have to You don't have to hang out.
I'll let my dogs out. They were just both looking at the door, waiting to go.
Impatient. Let us out, fucker. So, no, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. Tune in. What is today? There's nothing tomorrow. Wally's out tomorrow, but he'll be back Friday. Check out Saturday. Nonsensical Nonsense. You know the drill. The doors are open. We let all you assholes come up on the panel and hang out with us. And then Sunday, I believe Kayla and I will be back with a brand new episode of Beyond the Veil. We got some spooky shit to talk about. And then back to normal next week. I don't know what's going on next week. A bunch of shit's going on next week here on the network. Bio.link/nonsensical network. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. And if you guys missed it last night, go watch the replay. But I had our very good friends Kissing Lilith on the show, and I'm going to end the show with their brand new song. I think I am. I'm just lying. I am not. Yes, I am. I'm an idiot. I have to cue this intro. Where's it at? There it is. Yes, now I'm going to end the show with their new song, "What to Die For." Killer video, killer song. Go check them out. Deece, thank you again, brother. Have a great one. Look forward to seeing you again, man.
Take it easy.
Details of